that the special counsel reached. The Russian government interfered in the 2016 presidential election in a sweeping and systematic fashion. Evidence of Russian government operations began to surface in mid-2016. In June, the Democratic National Committee and its cyber response team publicly announced that Russian hackers had compromised its computer network. Releases of hacked materials, hacks that public reporting soon attributed to the Russian government, began that same month. Additional releases followed in July through the organization WikiLeaks, with further releases in October and November. In late July 2016, soon after WikiLeaks' first release of stolen documents, a foreign government contacted the FBI about a May 2016 encounter with Trump campaign foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos, not to be confused with Mr. Papadopoulos who adopted Webster. Papadopoulos had suggested to a representative of that foreign government that the Trump campaign received indications from the Russian government that it could assist the campaign through the anonymous release of information damaging to Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. That information prompted the FBI on July 31st, 2016 to open an investigation into whether individuals associated with the Trump campaign were coordinating with the Russian government in its interference activities. That fall, two federal agencies jointly announced that the Russian government directed recent compromises of emails from U.S. persons and institutions, including U.S. political organizations, and these thefts and disclosures are intended to interfere with the U.S. election process. After that election, in late December 2016, the United States imposed sanctions on Russia for having interfered in the election. By early 2017, several congressional committees were examining Russia's interference in the election. Within the executive branch, these investigatory efforts ultimately led to the May 2017 appointment of Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller III. The order appointing that special counsel authorized him to investigate the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election, including any links, or coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. As set forth in detail in this report, the Special Counsel's investigation established that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election principally through two operations. First, a Russian entity carried out a social media campaign that favored presidential candidate Donald J. Trump and disparaged presidential candidate Hillary Clinton and popular voter. Second, a Russian intelligence service conducted computer intrusion operations against entities, employees, and volunteers working on the Clinton campaign, and then released stolen documents. The investigation also identified numerous links between the Russian government and the Trump campaign. Again, numerous links. Although the investigation established that the Russian government perceived would benefit from a Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome, and that the campaign expected it would benefit electorally from information stolen and released through Russian efforts, the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. Below, we describe the evidentiary considerations underpinning statements about the results of our investigation and the Special Counsel's charging decisions, and we then provide an overview of the 2 volumes of our report. The report describes actions and events that the Special Counsel's Office found to be supported by the evidence collected in our investigation. In some instances, the report points out the absence of evidence or conflicts in the evidence about a particular fact or event. In other instances, when substantial, credible evidence enabled the office to reach a conclusion with confidence. The report states that the investigation established that certain actions or events occurred. A statement that the investigation did not establish particular facts does not mean that there was no evidence of those facts. In evaluating whether evidence about collective action of multiple individuals constituted a crime, we applied the framework of conspiracy law, not the concept of collusion. In doing so, the office recognized that the word collude was used in communications with the acting Attorney General, confirming certain aspects of the investigation's scope, and that the term has frequently been invoked in public reporting of the investigation. This is important. But collusion is not a specific offense or theory of liability found in the United States Code, nor is it a term of art in federal criminal law. For those reasons, the office's focus in analyzing questions of joint criminal liability was on conspiracy as defined in federal law. In connection with that analysis, we addressed the factual question whether members of the Trump campaign coordinated a term that appears in the appointment order with Russian election interference activities. Like collusion, coordination does not have a settled definition in federal criminal law. We understood coordination to require an agreement, tacit or express, between the Trump campaign and the Russian government on election interference. That requires more than the two parties taking actions that were informed by or responsive to the other's actions or interests. We apply the term coordination in that sense when stating in the report that the investigation did not establish that the Trump campaign coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. The report on our investigation consists of 2 volumes. Volume 1 describes the factual results of the special counsel's investigation of Russia's interference in the 2016 presidential election and its interactions with the Trump campaign. Section 1 describes the scope of the investigation. Sections 2 and 3 describe the principal ways Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election. Section 4 describes links between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. Section 5 sets forth the special counsel's charging decisions. Volume 2 addresses the president's actions towards the FBI's investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 presidential election and related matters, and his actions towards the special counsel's investigation. Volume 2 separately states its framework and the considerations that guided that investigation.
So, Russian social media campaign. The Internet Research Agency, IRA, carried out the earliest Russian interference operations identified by the investigation. The social media campaigns designated to provoke and amplify political and social discord in the United States. The IRA was based in St. Petersburg, Russia, and received funding from Russian oligarch Yevgeny Prigozhin and companies he controlled. Prigozhin is widely reported to have ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Redacted.
Yeah, arms to ongoing matter. So remember the definition. Okay, in mid-2014, the IRA sent employees to the United States on an intelligence gathering mission with instructions.
Harm to ongoing matter.
That continues. Okay. The IRA later used social media accounts and interest groups to sow discord in the United States political system through what it termed, quote, information warfare. The campaign evolved from a generalized program designed in 2014 and 2015 to undermine the U.S. electoral system to a targeted operation that by early 2016 favored candidate Trump and disparaged candidate Clinton. The IRA's operation also included the purchase of political advertisements on social media in the names of U.S. persons and entities, as well as the staging of political rallies inside the United States. To organize those rallies, the IRA employees posed as U.S. grassroots entities and persons, which, by the way, we are not, posing, and made contact with Trump supporters and Trump campaign officials in the United States. The investigation did not identify evidence that any U.S. persons conspired or coordinated with the IRA. Section 2 of this report details the office's investigations of the Russian social media campaign.
Russian hacking operations.
At the same time that the IRA operation began to focus on the supporting candidate Trump in early 2016, the Russian government employed a second form of interference: cyber intrusions, hereafter hacking, and releases of hacked material damaging the Putin campaign. The Russian intelligence service, known as the Main Intelligence Directorate of the General Staff of the Russian Army, or GRU, carried out these operations. In March 2016, the GRU began hacking the email accounts of Clinton campaign volunteers and employees, including the campaign chairman, John Podesta. In April 2016, the GRU hacked into the computer networks of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the DCCC, and the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. The GRU stole hundreds of thousands of documents from the compromised email accounts and networks. Around the time that the DNC announced in mid-June 2016 the Russian government's role in hacking this network, the GRU began disseminating the stolen material through the fictitious personas DC Leaks and Guccifer, not Guccifer, which we all just learned today, Guccifer 2.0.
It's like the fashion dream.
Exactly, very fancy. The GRU later released additional materials through the organization WikiLeaks.
Real quickly, I just want to put out what's on the screen right now. This is a timeline of all the interactions between the Russian persons and persons from the Trump campaign.
If you look over there, you can see the United States in the right.
Like a big image.
Yeah. The presidential campaign of Donald J. Trump, or Trump campaign, or campaign thereafter, showed interest in WikiLeaks release of the documents and welcomed their potential damage to candidate Clinton. Beginning in June 2016,
Harm's all really matter.
forecast senior campaign officials that WikiLeaks would release information damaging to candidate Clinton. Section 3 of this report details the office's investigation into the Russian hacking operations, as well as other efforts by Trump campaign supporters to obtain Clinton-related emails.
Russian contacts with the campaign.
All right, that's me. But again, witness this to our left. Okay. The social media campaign and the GRU hacking operations coincided with a series of contacts between Trump campaign officials and individuals with ties to the Russian government. The office investigated whether those contacts reflected or resulted in the campaign conspiring or coordinating with Russia in its election interference activities. Although the investigation established the Russian government perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome, and that the campaign expected it would benefit electorally from information stolen and released through Russian efforts, the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. Although so many segments, I'm sure. But the Russian contacts consisted of business connections, offers of assistance to the campaign, invitations for candidate Trump and Putin to meet in person, invitations for campaign officials and representatives of the Russian government to meet, and policy positions seeking improved U.S.-Russian relations. Section 4 of this report details the contacts between Russia and the Trump campaign during the campaign and transition periods, the most salient of which are summarized below in chronological order, and we will now summarize for you.
2015. Some of the earliest contacts were made in connection with a Trump Organization real estate project in Russia known as Trump Tower Moscow. Candidate Trump signed a letter of intent for Trump Tower Moscow by November 2015, and in January 2016, the Trump Organization executive Michael Cohen emailed and spoke about the project with Office of Russian Government Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov. The Trump Organization, the Trump Organization pursued the project through at least June 2016, including by considering travels to Russia by Cohen and candidate Trump.
All right, spring 2016. Campaign foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos made early contact with Joseph Mifsud, a London-based professor who had connections to Russia and traveled to Moscow in April 2016. Immediately upon his return from London from that trip, Mifsud told Papadopoulos that the Russian government had, quote, dirt on Hillary Clinton in the form of thousands of emails. 1 week later, in the first week of May 2016, Papadopoulos suggested to a representative of a foreign government that the Trump campaign had received indications from the Russian government that it could assist the campaign through the anonymous release of information damaging to candidate Clinton. Throughout that period of time and for several months thereafter, Papadopoulos worked with Mifsud and 2 Russian nationals to arrange a meeting between the campaign and the Russian government. No meeting took place.
Summer 2016. Russian outreach to Trump campaign continued into the summer of 2016, as candidate Trump was becoming the presumptive Republican nominee for president. On June 9, 2016, for example, a Russian lawyer met with senior Trump campaign officials, Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, and campaign chairman Paul Manafort, to deliver what an email proposing the meeting had described as official documents and information that would incriminate Hillary. The materials were offered to Trump as a part of Russia and its government support for Mr. Trump. The written communication setting up the meeting showed that the campaign anticipated receiving information from Russia that could assist candidate Trump's electoral prospects, but the Russian lawyer's presentation did not provide such information. Days after the June 9th meeting on June 14, 2016, a cybersecurity firm and the DNC announced that Russian government hackers had infiltrated the DNC and obtained access to opposition research on candidate Trump, among other documents.
Now we reach July 2016. Campaign foreign policy advisor Carter Page traveled in his personal capacity to Moscow and gave the keynote address at the new economics school. Page had lived and worked in Russia between 2003 and 2007. After returning to the United States, Page became acquainted with at least 2 Russian intelligence officers, one of whom was later charged in 2015 with conspiracy to act as an unregistered agent of Russia. Page's 2016 trip to Moscow and his advocacy for pro-Russian foreign policy drew media attention. The campaign then distanced itself from Page, and by late September 2016 removed him from the campaign. July 2016 was also the month WikiLeaks first released emails stolen by the GRU from the DNC. On July 22, 2016, WikiLeaks posted thousands of internal DNC documents revealing information about the Clinton campaign. I remember this, I don't know if y'all do, but I do. Within days, there was public reporting that U.S. intelligence agencies had, quote, high confidence that the Russian government was behind the theft of emails and documents from the DNC. And within a week of the release, a foreign government informed the FBI about its May 2016 interaction with Papadopoulos and his statement that the Russian government could assist the Trump campaign. On July 31, 2016, based on the foreign government reporting, the FBI opened an investigation into potential coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign.
Separately, on August 2, 2016, Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort met in New York City with his longtime business associate, Konstantin Kilimnik, who the FBI assesses to have ties to Russian intelligence. Kilimnik requested the meeting to deliver in person a peace plan for the Ukraine that Manafort acknowledged to the special counsel's office was a backdoor way for Russia to control part of eastern Ukraine. Both men believed the plan would require candidate Trump's assent to succeed were he to be elected president. They also discussed the status of the Trump campaign and Manafort's strategy for winning the Democratic votes in Midwestern states. Months before that meeting, Manafort had caused internal polling data to be shared with Kilimnik. I love that phrase, caused the data to be shared. And the sharing continued for some period of time after their August meeting.
Yeah, the phrasing is a little bit clinical.
Very special.
Yeah. Okay. Fall 2016. On October 7, 2016, the media released a video of candidate Trump speaking in graphic terms about women years earlier. Ooh, I remember this one too. I was real pissed off. Alright, which was considered damaging to his reader. It was not damaging to his fans. Less than an hour later, WikiLeaks made its second release. Thousands of John Podesta's emails that had been stolen by the GRU in late March 2016. Timing. The FBI and other U.S. government institutions were at the time continuing their investigation of suspected Russian government efforts to interfere in the presidential election. That same day, October 7th, the Department of Homeland Security and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence issued a joint public statement, quote, that the Russian government directed the recent compromises of emails from U.S. persons and institutions, including from U.S. political organizations, end quote. Those thefts and the disclosures of the hacked materials through online platforms such as WikiLeaks, the statement continued, are intended to interfere with the U.S. election process.
Post-2016 election. Immediately after the November 8th election, Russian government officials and prominent Russian businessmen began trying to make inroads into the new administration. The most senior levels of the Russian government encouraged these efforts. The Russian embassy made contact hours after the election to congratulate the president-elect and to arrange a call with President Putin. Several Russian businessmen picked up the effort from there. Kirill Dmitriev, the chief executive officer of Russia's Sovereign Wealth Fund, was among the Russians who tried to make contact with the incoming administration. In early December, a business associate steered Dmitriev to Eric Prince, a supporter of the Trump campaign and an associate of senior Trump advisor Steve Bannon, and the founder of Blackwater and brother of Betsy DeVos, Secretary of Education.
Don't worry, but seriously, there are books on Blackwater. Read them.
Yeah. Dmitria and Prince later met face-to-face in January 2017 in the Seychelles. Seychelles?
Yeah.
There we are. Very Bond-esque. Seychelles, and discussed the U.S.-Russia relations. During the same period, another business associate introduced Dmitriev to a friend of Jared Kushner, who had not served on the campaign or the transition team. Dmitriev and Kushner's friend collaborated on a short written reconciliation plan for the United States and Russia, which Dmitriev implied had been cleared through Putin. The friend gave that proposal to Kushner before the inauguration. Kushner later gave copies to Bannon and incoming Secretary of State Rex Tillerson.
So just saying, Jared Kushner, he's the one who wants to go. He's just totally innocent. Okay. On December 29, 2016, then President Obama imposed sanctions on Russia for having interfered in the United States election. Incoming National Security Advisor Michael Flynn called Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak and asked Russia not to escalate the situation in response to the sanctions. The following day, Putin announced that Russia would not take retaliatory measures in response to the sanctions at that time. Hours later, President-elect Trump tweeted, quote, "Great move on delay," parenthetically, by the Putin, end parenthetical, end quote. The next day, on December 31st, 2016, Kislyak called Flynn and told him the request had been received at the highest levels, and Russia had chosen not to retaliate as a result of Flynn's request.
On January 6, 2017, members of the intelligence community briefed President-elect Trump on a joint assessment drafted and coordinated among the Central Intelligence Agency, FBI, and National Security Agency. That concluded with the highest confidence that Russia had intervened in the election through a variety of means to assist Trump's candidacy and harm Clinton's. A declassified version of the assessment was publicly released that same day.
Between mid-January 2017 and early February 2017, 3 congressional committees, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, HPSCI, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, SSCI, and the Senate Judiciary Committee, SJC, announced that they would conduct inquiries, or had already been conducting inquiries into Russian interference in the election. Then FBI Director James Comey later confirmed to Congress the existence of the FBI's investigation into Russian interference that had begun before the election. On March 20th, 2017, in open session testimony before the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Comey stated,
"I have been authorized by the Department of Justice to confirm that the FBI, as part of our counterintelligence mission, is investigating the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election, and that includes investigating the nature of any links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government, and whether there is any coordination between the campaign and Russia's efforts. As with any counterintelligence investigation, this will also include an assessment of whether any crimes were committed."
The investigation continued under then Director Comey for the next 7 weeks until May 9th, 2017, when President Trump fired Comey as FBI Director. Okay, let me reiterate, he fired Comey, an action which is analyzed in Volume 2 of the report, so we'll get to that.
Plot twist. On May 17th, 2017, Acting Attorney General Rod Rosenstein appointed a special counsel and authorized him to conduct the investigation that Comey had confirmed in his congressional testimony, as well as matters arising directly from the investigation, and many other matters within the scope of some regulations 28 CFR 604A, which generally covers efforts to interfere with or obstruct the investigation. President Trump reacted negatively to the special counsel's appointment. He told advisors that it was the end of his presidency, oh, if only, sought to have Attorney General Jeff Sessions unrecused himself from the Russia investigation
and to have the special counsel removed and engaged in efforts to curtail the special counsel's investigation and prevent the disclosure of evidence to it. Well, it looks like almost like he's trying to obstruct this investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might be trying to prevent things.
Yeah. Doesn't want it to happen or stopping it.
Maybe.
Something else. Yeah. That evidence that he tried to keep, and all of a sudden tried to keep from it, included through public and private contacts with potential witnesses. Those and related actions are described and analyzed in Volume 2 of the report.
Next time on the Mueller Report.
The special counsel's charging decisions.
Alright, so look, this is, like, I'm gonna read it, but this is like the special counsel saying, so we found all this stuff, but here's where we're at. So, okay. In reaching the charging decisions described in Volume 1 of the report, the office determined whether the conduct it found amounted to a violation of federal criminal law chargeable under the principles of federal prosecution, capital P, capital F, capital P. C, Justice Manual, Section 9-27.0. The standard set forth in the Justice Manual is whether the conduct constitutes a crime. If so, whether admissible evidence would probably be sufficient to obtain and sustain a conviction, and whether prosecution would serve a substantial federal interest that could not be adequately served by prosecution elsewhere or through non-criminal alternatives. See Justice Manual, Section 9-27.220. Section 5 of the report provides detailed explanation of the office's charging decisions, which contain 3 main components. Okay, so this is our summary, and then we'll unpack it later. Okay, so first component. The office determined that Russia's 2 principal interference operations in the 2016 presidential elections, the social media campaign and the hacking and dumping operations, violated U.S. criminal law. Okay, Russia violated U.S. criminal law. Many of the individuals and entities involved in the social media campaign have been charged with participating in a conspiracy to defraud the U.S. by undermining through deceptive acts the work of federal agencies charged with regulating foreign influence in U.S. elections, as well as related counts of identity theft. Ooh, nice, okay. Separately, Russian intelligence officers who carried out the hacking into Democratic Party computers and the personal email accounts of individuals associated with the Clinton campaign conspired to violate, among other federal laws, the Federal Computer Intrusion Statute, and they have been so charged. See USB, look, Russian name, out. So see this, as well as harm to ongoing matter.
Oh, yo, that's right. Because it's been redacted.
Yep.
Well, there's some personal privacy in this,
Yeah.
Careful.
Yep.
That's true.
Okay, second, while the investigation identified numerous links between individuals with ties to the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign, the evidence was not sufficient to support criminal charges. Side note, motherfucker. Among other things, the evidence was not sufficient to charge any campaign official as an unregistered agent of the Russian government or other Russian principal. And our evidence about the June 9, 2016 meeting and WikiLeaks' releases, plural, of hacked materials were not sufficient to charge a criminal campaign finance violation. Further, the evidence was not sufficient to charge that any member of the Trump campaign conspired with representatives of the Russian government to interfere in the 2016 election. Yikes. Third, the investigation established, okay, so yeah, second, they tried, but they didn't identify anything. Third, the investigation established that several individuals affiliated with the Trump campaign lied to the office. Yeah, okay, so look, they tried, but the people they talked to fucking lied. And to Congress. They lied both to the Office of the Special Counsel and to Congress about their interactions with Russian-affiliated individuals and related matters. Those lies materially impaired the investigation of Russian election interference. The office charged some of those lies as violations of the federal false statement statute. Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn pled guilty to lying about his interactions with Russian Ambassador Kislyak during the transition period.
He also claimed that a Turkish national that was living in the U.S. and sent him back to Turkey.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Special type.
Yeah, that's like really just like
little cash on the side.
Yeah, working hard. Okay.
Yeah.
George Papadopoulos, a foreign policy advisor during the campaign period, pled guilty to lying to investigators about, inter alia, among other things, the nature and timing of his interactions with Joseph Mifsud, the professor who told Papadopoulos that the Russians had dirt on Clinton in the form of thousands of emails. So they lied about those emails. Former Trump Organization attorney Michael Cohen pled guilty to making false statements to Congress about the Trump Moscow project.
Armed to ongoing matter.
And in February 2019, the U.S. District, this year, the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia found that Manafort lied to the office and that the grand jury concerned his interactions and communications with Konstantin Kulimnik about Trump campaign polling data and a peace plan for Ukraine. So we want to develop these things.
The office investigated several other events that have been publicly reported to involve potential Russia-related contacts. For example, the investigation established that interactions between Russian Ambassador Kislyak and Trump campaign officials, both at the candidate's April 2016 foreign policy speech in Washington, D.C., and during the week of the Republican National Convention, were brief and non-substantive. And the investigation did not establish that one campaign official's efforts to dilute a portion of the Republican Party platform on providing assistance to the Ukraine, were undertaken at the behest of candidates Trump or Russia. The investigation also did not establish that a meeting between Kislyak and Sessions in September 2016 at Sessions' Senate office included any more than passing mention of the presidential campaign. The investigation did not always yield admissible information or testimony or a complete picture of the activities undertaken by subjects of the investigation.
Or anything.
Yeah, meaning that they found stuff that they can't quite put out there. Some of the individuals invoked their Fifth Amendment right against compelled self-incrimination and were not, in the office's judgment, appropriate candidates for grants of immunity. The office limited its pursuit of other witnesses and information, such as information known to the attorneys or individuals claiming to be members of the media, in light of internal Department of Justice policies. See, for example, Justice Manual 9, 13400, 13410. Some of the information obtained via court process, moreover, was presumptively covered by legal privilege and was screened from investigators by a filter or Teams team. Even when individuals testified or agreed to be interviewed, they sometimes provided information that was false or incomplete, leading to some of the false statements charges described above. And the office faced practical limits on its ability to access relevant evidence as well. Numerous witnesses and subjects lived abroad, and documents were held outside the United States.
Okay. So, immature of me, but thanks.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you.
Good job. I would expect me to do. Further, the office learned that some of the individuals we interviewed, or whose conduct we investigated, including some associated with the Trump campaign, deleted relevant communications or communicated during the relevant period using applications that feature encryption or that do not provide long-term retention of data or communication records. In such cases, the office was not able to corroborate witness statements through comparison to contemporaneous communications, or fully question witnesses about statements that appeared inconsistent with other known facts. Accordingly, while this report embodies factual and legal determinations that the office believes to be accurate and complete to the greatest extent possible, given these identified gaps, the office cannot rule out the possibility that the unavailable information would shed additional light on or cast in a new light the events described in the report.
So basically, shit got deleted and we don't know everything.
Office of the Deputy Attorney General, Order Number 3915-2017, appointment of special counsel to investigate Russian interference with the 2016 election and related matters. Relying on the authority vested in the Acting Attorney General, including 28 U.S.C. subsections 509, 510, and 515, the Acting Attorney General ordered the appointment of a special counsel, quote, in order to discharge the Acting Attorney General's responsibility to provide supervision and management of the Department of Justice and to ensure a full and thorough investigation of the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. Appointment order introduction. The special counsel, the order stated, is authorized to conduct the investigation confirmed by then FBI Director James B. Comey in testimony before the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence on March 20th, 2017, including 1. Any links and/or coordination between the Russian government and the individuals associated with the campaign of President Donald Trump, and
2.
any matters that arose or may arise directly from the investigation, and
3.
any other matters within the scope of 28 CFR subsection 600.4a. Appointment order paragraph B. Section 600.4 affords the special counsel, quote, the authority to investigate and prosecute federal crimes committed in the course of and with the intent to interfere with the special counsel's investigation, such as perjury, obstruction of justice, destruction of evidence, and intimidation of witnesses, end quote. 28 CFR section 600.4a. The authority to investigate, quote, any matters that arose directly from the investigation, end quote. Appointment order paragraph E2 covers similar crimes that may have occurred during the course of the FBI's confirmed investigation before the special counsel's appointment. Quote, if the special counsel believes it is necessary and appropriate, the order further provided, the special counsel is authorized to prosecute federal crimes arising from the investigation of these matters. Finally, the acting attorney general made applicable section 600.4 through 600.10 of Title 28 of the Code of Federal Regulations. The acting attorney general further clarified the scope of the special counsel's investigatory authority in 2 subsequent memoranda. A memorandum dated August 2nd, 2017, explained that the appointment order had been worded categorically in order to permit its public release without confirming specific investigations involving specific individuals. It then confirmed that the special counsel had been authorized since his appointment to investigate allegations that 3 Trump campaign officials, Carter Page, Paul Manafort, and George Papadopoulos, committed a crime or crimes by colluding with Russian government officials with respect to the Russian government's efforts to interfere with the 2016 presidential election. The memorandum also confirmed that the special counsel's authority to investigate certain other matters, including 2 additional sets of allegations involving Manafort, crimes arising from payments he received from the Ukrainian government, and crimes arising from his receipts of loans from a bank whose CEO was then seeking a position in the Trump administration. Allegations that Papadopoulos committed a crime or crimes by acting as an unregistered agent of the Israeli government, and 4 sets of allegations involving Michael Flynn, the former National Security Advisor to President Trump. On October 20th, 2017, the acting attorney general confirmed in a memorandum that the special counsel's investigative authority as to several individuals and entities. First, as part of a full and thorough investigation of the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election, the special counsel was authorized to investigate the pertinent activities of Michael Cohen, Richard Gates,
Personal privacy.
Roger Stone, and
Personal privacy.
or PP. It says.
So if you're keeping count, we're at taint and PP.
Confirmation of the authorization to investigate such individuals, the memorandum stressed, does not suggest the special counsel has made a determination that any of them has committed a crime. Second, with respect to Michael Cohen, the memorandum recognized the special counsel's authority to investigate, quote, leads related to Cohen's establishment and use of Essential Consultants LLC to, inter alia, receive funds from the Russian-backed entities. Third, the memorandum memorialized the special counsel's authority to investigate individuals and entities who were possibly engaged in jointly undertaken activity with existing subjects of the investigation, including Paul Manafort. Finally, the memorandum described an FBI investigation opened before special counsel's appointment into allegations that then Attorney General Jeff Sessions made false allegations to the United States Senate, and confirmed the special counsel's authority to investigate that matter. The special counsel structured the investigation in view of his power and authority to exercise all investigative and prosecutorial functions of the United States Attorney. 28 CFR, subsection 600.6. Like a U.S. Attorney's Office, the Special Counsel's Office considered a range of classified and unclassified information available to the FBI in the course of the office's Russia investigation, and the office structured that work around evidence for possible use in prosecutions of federal crimes, assuming that one or more crimes were identified that warranted prosecution. There was substantial evidence immediately available to the special counsel at the inception of the investigation in May 2017 because the FBI had, by that time, already investigated Russian election interference for nearly 10 months. The special counsel exercised its judgment regarding what to investigate and did not, for instance, investigate every public report of a contact between the Trump campaign and Russian-affiliated individuals and entities. The office has concluded its investigation into links and coordination between the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. Certain proceedings associated with the office's work remain ongoing. After consultation with the Office of the Deputy Attorney General, the office has transferred responsibility for those remaining issues to other components of the Department of Justice and FBI. Appendix D lists those transfers.
Make sure to come back for Appendix D. It's a big one.
2 district courts confirmed the breadth of the special counsel's authority to investigate Russian election interference and links and/or coordination with the Trump campaign. See United States versus Manafort 312 F supporting 3D 60 bunch of numbers. U.S. versus Manafort bunch of numbers. In the course of conducting that investigation, the office periodically identified evidence of potential criminal activity that was outside the scope of the special counsel's authority established by the acting attorney general. After consultation with the Office of the Deputy Attorney General, the office referred that evidence to appropriate law enforcement authorities, principally other components of the Department of Justice and to the FBI. Appendix D summarizes those referrals. To carry out the investigation and prosecution of the matters assigned to him, the special counsel assembled a team that at its high point included 19 attorneys, 5 of them who joined the office from private practice and 14 on detail or assigned from other Department of Justice components. These attorneys were assisted by a filter team of department lawyers and FBI personnel who screened materials obtained via court process for privileged information before turning those materials over to investigators. A support staff of 3 paralegals on detail from the department's antitrust division, and an administrative staff of 9 responsible for budget, finance, purchasing, human resources, records, facilities, security, information technology, and administrative support. The special counsel attorneys and support staff were co-located with and worked alongside approximately 40 FBI agents, intelligence analysts, forensic accountants, a paralegal, and professional staff assigned by the FBI to assist the special counsel's investigation. Those assigned FBI employees remained under FBI supervision at all times. The matters on which they assisted were supervised by the special counsel. During its investigation, the office issued more than 2,800 subpoenas under the auspices of a grand jury sitting in the District of Columbia, executed by 500 search and seizure warrants, obtained more than 230 orders for communications records under 18 U.S.C. Section 2703D, obtained almost 50 orders authorizing use of pen registers, made 13 requests to foreign governments pursuant to mutual legal assistance treaties, and interviewed approximately 500 witnesses, including almost 80 before a grand jury. From its inception, the office recognized that the investigation could identify foreign intelligence and counterintelligence information relevant to the FBI's broader national security mission. FBI personnel who assisted the office established procedures to identify and convey such information to the FBI. The FBI's counterintelligence division met with the office regularly for that purpose and for most of the office's tenure. For more than the past year, the FBI also embedded personnel at the office who did not work on the special counsel's investigation, but whose purpose was to review the results of the investigation and to send, in writing, summaries of foreign intelligence and counterintelligence information to FBI HQ and the FBI field offices. Those communications and other correspondence between the office and the FBI contain information derived from the investigation, not all of which is contained in this volume. This volume is a summary. It contains, in the office's judgment, that information necessary to account for special counsel's prosecution and declination decisions to describe the investigation's main factual results.
2. Russian active measures.
The first form of Russian election influence came principally from the Internet Research Agency, IRA, a Russian organization founded by Yevgeny, I practiced it and I still screwed up, Yevgeny Prigozhin, and companies he controlled, including Concord Management and Consulting LLC and Concord Catering. The IRA conducted social media operations targeted at large U.S. audiences with the goal of sowing discord in the U.S. political system. These operations constituted active measures, a term that typically refers to operations conducted by Russian security services aimed at influencing the course of international affairs. The IRA and its employees began operations targeting the United States as early as 2014. Using fictitious U.S. personas, IRA employees operated social media accounts and group pages designed to attract U.S. audiences. These groups and accounts, which address divisive U.S. political and social issues, falsely claimed to be controlled by U.S. activists. Over time, these social media accounts became a means to reach large U.S. audiences. IRA employees traveled to the United States in mid-2014 on an intelligence gathering mission to obtain information and photographs for use in their social media posts. IRA employees posted derogatory information about a number of candidates in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. By the early to mid-2016, IRA operations included supporting the Trump campaign and disparaging candidate Hillary Clinton. The IRA made various expenditures to carry out those activities, including buying political advertisements on social media in the names of U.S. persons and entities. Some IRA employees posing as U.S. persons and without revealing their Russian association communicated electronically with individuals associated with the Trump campaign and with other political activists to seek to coordinate political activities, including the staging of political rallies. The investigation did not identify evidence that any U.S. persons knowingly or intentionally coordinated with the IRA's interference operation. By the end of the 2016 election, the IRA had the ability to reach millions of U.S. persons through their social media accounts. Multiple IRA-controlled Facebook groups and Instagram accounts had, careful when you're being first. Careful when you're being first. Instagram accounts had hundreds of thousands of U.S. participants. IRA-controlled Twitter accounts separately had tens of thousands of followers, including multiple U.S. political figures. Who retweeted IRA-created content. In November 2017, a Facebook representative testified that Facebook had identified 470 IRA-controlled Facebook accounts that collectively made 80,000 posts between January 2015 and August 2017.
80,000.
Facebook estimated the IRA reached as many as 126 million persons through its Facebook accounts. In January 2018, Twitter announced that it had identified 3,814 IRA-controlled Twitter accounts and notified approximately 1.4 million people Twitter believed may have been in contact with an IRA-controlled account.
A. Structure of the Internet Research Agency. Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter.
There's also
And-
a footnote.
Yeah.
It's not protected, but it's also a reference to something else.
Oh yes, there is harm to ongoing matter and a footnote.
It says CSM-numbers, serial 92. Yikes.
Followed by another harm to ongoing matter and another footnote that's a harm to ongoing matter.
Yeah, followed by the same reference. Yeah, there's lots of references to, I'm presuming, specific computer units, like tech units, and then lots of harm to ongoing matter. So there's harm to ongoing matter, and then there's, so again, to reiterate, The section we're at is structure of the Internet Research Agency. There's harm to ongoing matter. And then the next paragraph is the organization quickly grew, period.
Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter.
Next paragraph. The growth of the organization also led to a more detailed organizational structure.
Harm to ongoing matter.
Followed by,
Harm to ongoing matter.
next paragraph. 2 individuals headed the IRA's management. Its general director, Mikhail Bistrov, and its executive director, Mikhail Borchik.
And this is where the report gets really rolling. Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter.
As early as the spring of 2014, the IRA began to hide its funding and activities.
Harm to ongoing matter.
The IRA's U.S. operations.
It's not much. Okay.
I like a good rhythm. Okay. The IRA's U.S. operations are part of a larger set of interlocking operations known as, quote, Project Lakta.
Everybody.
Harm to ongoing matter.
Good job. Narrator.
I was fine. B. Funding and oversight from Concord to Prigozhin.
All right. Until at least February 2018, Yevgeny Viktorovich Prigozhin and 2 Concord companies funded the IRA. Prigozhin is a wealthy Russian businessman who served as the head of Concord.
Harm to ongoing matter.
Prigozhin was sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department in December 2016.
Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter.
Numerous media sources have reported on Prigozhin's ties to Putin, and the 2 have appeared together in public photographs.
Harm to ongoing matter.
But wait,
Harm to ongoing matter.
and still,
Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter.
hold on, I gotta turn the page. For more, anyway.
Harm to ongoing matter. 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 It's really picking up steam.
Yeah.
Oh, and in the middle of the last paragraph on this page, which is redacted to say harm to ongoing matter, is the first footnote we choose to share with you, which is footnote 28, which states, the term troll refers to internet users, in this context, paid operatives, who post inflammatory or otherwise disruptive content on social media or other websites. So if anybody's curious, that is a government-sanctioned definition of the word troll.
Cool. All right. IRA employees were aware that Prigozhin was involved in the IRA's U.S. operations.
Harm to ongoing matter, harm to ongoing matter.
In May 2016, IRA employees claiming to be U.S. social activists and administrators of Facebook groups recruited U.S. persons to hold signs, including one in front of the White House that read, quote, Happy 55th birthday, dear boss, as an homage to Yevgeny Prigozhin, whose 55th birthday was on June 1st, 2016.
Harm to ongoing matter.
So much harm, all harm, still.
There's more harm to ongoing matter right here.
And
C. The IRA targets U.S. elections. 1. The IRA ramps up U.S. operations as early as 2014.
The IRA's U.S. operations sought to influence public opinion through online media and forums. By the spring of 2014, the IRA began to consolidate U.S. operations within a single general department, known internally as the, quote, translator department. IRA subdivided the translator department into different responsibilities, ranging from operations on different social media platforms to analytics to, if I can change my grade, graphics and IT, followed by so much.
So much.
Like just an entire really large paragraph of yeah. Okay.
Continues on to the next page.
My favorite is that the footnotes are also redacted in the same fashion. So yeah. Cool. And then there's a whole subsection where there are bullets, and there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 bullets that are all redacted. Okay? And then we come out of those bullets to IRA employees also traveled to the United States on intelligence gathering missions. In June 2014, 4 IRA employees applied to the U.S. Department of State to enter the United States. while lying about the purpose of their trip and claiming to be 4 friends who had met at a party. I mean, we've all been there, right? You meet some people at a party, you decide to go on an international trip. Like, that's, of course. Ultimately, 2 IRA employees, Anna Bogucheva and Alexandra Krylova, received visas and entered the U.S. on June 4th, 2014. Prior to traveling, they compiled itineraries and instructions for the trip.
Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter.
See, I was really looking forward to hearing about, like, you know, where they want, yeah,
Trips to lighthouses.
right, like when they're on a tour, you know.
If we just jump back real quickly, there's a footnote with other action. It was the very first investigative technique of action.
Ooh.
So that was a special one.
Thank you for the support, yes. Yeah. Footnote 29, in fact, 29. Yeah, investigative technique.
True. 2. U.S. operations through IRA-controlled social media accounts.
Take it away from me.
Dozens of IRA employees were responsible for operating accounts and personas on different U.S. social media platforms. The IRA referred to employees assigned to operate the social media accounts as specialists. Starting as early as 2014, the IRA's U.S. operations included social media specialists focusing on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. The IRA later added specialists who operated on Tumblr and Instagram accounts. Initially, the IRA created social media accounts that pretended to be the personal accounts of U.S. persons. By early 2015, the IRA began to create larger social media groups or public social media pages that claimed falsely to be affiliated with U.S. political and grassroots organizations. In certain cases, the IRA created accounts that mimic real U.S. organizations. For example, one IRA-controlled Twitter account at 10_GOP purported to be 10, spelled out to the end, purported to be connected to the Tennessee Republican Party. More common.
Footnote 46. The account claimed to be the unofficial Twitter of Tennessee Republicans and made posts that appeared to be endorsements of the state political party. See example at 10, spelled out _GOP, April 3rd, 2016 tweet. Parenthetical, quote, Tennessee GOP backs at real Donald Trump, period. Hashtag make America great again. Hashtag TNGOP. Hashtag Tennessee. Hashtag GOP. In quotation in parenthetical.
Hashtag indeed.
Hashtag harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter.
More commonly, the IRA created accounts in the names of fictitious U.S. organizations, grassroots groups, and used these accounts to pose as anti-immigration groups, Tea Party activists, Black Lives Matter protesters, and other U.S. social and political activists. The IRA closely monitored the activity of its social media accounts.
Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. Very much harm to ongoing matter.
By February 2016, the internal IRA documents referred to support for the Trump campaign and opposition to candidate Clinton.
Footnote 49. The IRA posted content about the Clinton candidacy before Clinton officially announced her presidential campaign. IRA-controlled social media accounts criticized Clinton's record as Secretary of State and promoted various critiques of her candidacy. The IRA also used other techniques. Harm to ongoing matter.
By February 2016, the internal, for example, directions to IRA operations.
Harm to ongoing matter.
Main idea, quote, main idea, use any opportunity to criticize Hillary Clinton and the rest, except Sanders and Trump. We support them.
Harm to ongoing matter.
The focus on the U.S. presidential campaign continued through 2016 and 2016 internal, reviewing the IRA-controlled Facebook group Secured Borders. The author criticized the lower number of posts dedicated to criticizing Hillary Clinton and reminded the Facebook specialists, quote, it is imperative to intensify criticizing Hillary Clinton. IRA employees also acknowledged that their work focused on influencing the U.S. presidential election.
Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. 3. U.S. operations through Facebook.
Many IRA operations use Facebook accounts created and operated by its specialists.
And a whole lot of harm to ongoing matter, harm to ongoing matter, harm to ongoing matter.
Indeed. IRA Facebook groups active during the 2016 campaign covered a range of political issues and included purported conservative groups with names such as Being Patriotic, Stop All Immigrants, Secured Borders, and Tea Party names. Purported black social justice groups, Black Matters, Blacktivists, and Don't Shoot Us, LGBTQ groups, LGBT United, and religious groups, United Muslims of America. We really covered all their bases.
Right.
Through 2016,
Far right.
oh yeah. Through 2016, accounts published an increasing number of materials supporting the Trump campaign and opposing the Clinton campaign. For example, on May 31st, 2016, the operational account NetSkyber began to privately message dozens of pro-Trump Facebook groups asking them to help plan a pro-Trump rally near Trump Tower. To reach larger U.S. audiences, the IRA purchased advertisements from Facebook that promoted the IRA groups on the newsfeeds of U.S. audience members. According to Facebook, the IRA purchased over 3,500 advertisements, and the expenditures totaled approximately $100,000. During the U.S. presidential campaign, many IRA purchased advertisements explicitly supported or opposed presidential candidates, or promoted U.S. rallies organized by the IRA, discussed below. As early as March 2016, the IRA purchased advertisements that overtly opposed the Clinton campaign. For example, on March 18, 2016, the IRA purchased an advertisement depicting candidate Clinton and a caption that read, in part, "If one day God lets this liar into the White House as president, that day would be a real national tragedy." Similarly, on April 6, 2016, the IRA purchased advertisements for its account Black Matters, calling for a flash mob of U.S. persons to take a photo with Hillary Clinton for prison in 2016, or No Hillary 2016. These are hashtag, both of those items. IRA purchased advertisements featuring Clinton were, with very few exceptions, negative. IRA purchased advertisements referencing candidate Trump largely supported his campaign. The first known IRA advertisement explicitly endorsing the Trump campaign was purchased April 19, 2016. The IRA bought an advertisement for its Instagram account, Tea Party News, asking the U.S. persons to help them make a patriotic team of young Trump supporters by uploading photos with the hashtag #Kids4Trump. In subsequent months, the IRA purchased dozens of advertisements supporting the Trump campaign, predominantly through the Facebook groups Being Patriotic and Stop All Invaders and Secured Borders. Collectively, the IRA social media accounts reached tens of millions of U.S. persons. Individual IRA social media accounts attracted hundreds of thousands of followers. For example, at the time they were deactivated by Facebook in mid-2017, by the time we got around to it, the IRA's United Muslims for America Facebook group had over 300,000 followers. The Don't Shoot Us Facebook group had over 250,000 followers. The Being Patriotic Facebook group had over 200,000 followers. And the Secured Borders Facebook group had over 130,000 followers. According to Facebook, in total, the IRA-controlled accounts made over 80,000 posts before their deactivation in August 2017. And these posts reached at least 29 million U.S. persons and may have reached an estimated 126 million people.
More people than voted in the election. 4. U.S. operations through Twitter.
A number of IRA employees assigned to the translator department served as Twitter specialists.
Harm to ongoing matter.
The IRA's Twitter operations involved two strategies. First, the IRA specialists operated certain Twitter accounts to create individual U.S. personas.
Harm to ongoing matter.
Separately, the IRA operated a network of automated Twitter accounts, commonly referred to as the bot network, that enabled the IRA to amplify existing content on Twitter.
A. individualized accounts. Harm to ongoing matter, harm to ongoing matter, harm to ongoing matter.
The IRA operated individualized Twitter accounts similar to the operation of its Facebook account by continuously posting original content to the accounts, while also communicating with U.S. Twitter users directly through public tweeting or Twitter's private messaging. The IRA used many of these accounts to attempt to influence U.S. audiences on the election. Individualized accounts used to influence the U.S. presidential election included @TEN_GOP, described above, @Jen_Abrams, claiming to be a Virginian Trump supporter with 70,000 followers, @Pamela_Moore13, claiming to be a Texan Trump supporter with 70,000 followers, and @America_first_, an anti-immigration persona with 24,000 followers. In May 2016, the IRA created the Twitter account @March_for_Trump, which promoted IRA organized rallies in support of the Trump campaign, described below.
Except it's harm to ongoing matter and harm to ongoing matter.
Using these accounts and others, the IRA provoked reactions from users and the media. Multiple IRA tweets gained popularity.
Footnote number 70. For example, one IRA account tweeted, quote, "To those people who hate the Confederate flag, did you know that the flag in the war wasn't about slavery? It was all about
It was
money."
about slavery. It was about slavery. The war was about slavery.
End quote. The tweet received over 40,000 responses. @Jen_Abrams, April 24th, 2017, 2:37 p.m. It was a tweet.
U.S. media outlets also quoted tweets from the IRA-controlled accounts and attributed them to the reactions of real U.S. persons. Similarly, numerous high-profile U.S. persons, including former Ambassador Michael McFaul, Roger Stone, Sean Hannity, and Michael Flynn Jr., retweeted and responded to tweets posted to these IRA-controlled accounts. Multiple individuals affiliated with the Trump campaign also promoted IRA tweets, discussed below.
B. IRA botnet activities. Harm to ongoing matter, harm to ongoing matter, harm to ongoing matter.
In January 2018, Twitter publicly identified 3,814 Twitter accounts associated with the IRA. According to Twitter, in the 10 weeks before the 2016 U.S. presidential election, these accounts posted approximately 175,993 tweets, approximately 8.4% of which were election-related.
Footnote 80. Twitter. Quote, update on Twitter's review of the 2016 U.S. election, end quote. Updated January 31st, 2018. Twitter also reported identifying 50,258 automated accounts connected to the Russian government, which tweeted more than 1 million times in the 10 weeks before the election.
Twitter also announced that it had notified approximately 1.4 million people who Twitter believed may have been in contact with an IRA-controlled account.
Number 5. U.S. operations involving political rallies.
The IRA organized and promoted political rallies inside the United States while posing as U.S. grassroots activists. First, the IRA used one of its pre-existing social media personas to announce and promote the event. The IRA then sent a large number of direct messages to followers of its social media accounts asking them to attend the event. From those who responded with interest in attending, the IRA then sought a U.S. person to serve as the event's coordinator. In most cases, the IRA account operator would tell the U.S. person that they personally could not attend the event due to some pre-existing conflict or because they were somewhere else in the United States. The IRA then further promoted the event by contacting U.S. media about the event and directing them to speak with the coordinator. After the event, the IRA posted videos and photographs of the event to the IRA's social media accounts. The office identified dozens of U.S. rallies organized by the IRA. The earliest evidence of a rally was a Confederate rally in November 2015. The IRA will continue to organize rallies even after the 2016 U.S. presidential election. The attendance at rallies varied. Some rallies appeared to have drawn few, if any, participants, while others drew hundreds. The reach and success of these rallies was closely monitored.
Harm to ongoing matter, followed by our first entire page of harm to ongoing matter.
I'd like to offer this
representation of the page. Yeah.
Page 30. Best page in the world.
That must be full of good stuff.
My theory is that it is some kind of scam coordination with printer toner companies to make money. It's just my theory. It's my personal opinion. It's not the opinion of the business.
Jason, we have enough conspiracy theory.
Sorry. From June 2016 until the end of the presidential campaign, almost all of the U.S. rallies organized by the IRA focused on the U.S. election, often promoting the Trump campaign and opposing the Clinton campaign. Pro-Trump rallies included 3 in New York, a series of pro-Trump rallies in Florida in August 2016, and a series of pro-Trump rallies in October 2016 in Pennsylvania. The Florida rallies drew the attention of the Trump campaign, which posted about the Miami rally on candidate Trump's Facebook account. Many of the same IRA employees who oversaw the IRA's social media accounts also conducted the day-to-day recruiting for political rallies inside the United States.
Armed ongoing matter. 6. Targeting and recruitment of U.S. persons.
As early as 2014, the IRA instructed its employees to target U.S. persons who could be used to advance its operational goals. Initially, recruitment focused on U.S. persons who could amplify the content posted by the IRA.
Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter.
IRA employees frequently use
investigative techniques.
Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to contact and recruit U.S. persons who followed the group. The IRA recruited U.S. persons from across the political spectrum. For example, the IRA targeted the family of
personal privacy
and a number of Black social justice activists, while posing as a grassroots group called Black Matters US. In February 2017, the persona Black Fist, purporting to want to teach African Americans to protect themselves when contacted by law enforcement, hired a self-defense instructor in New York to offer classes sponsored by Black Fist. The IRA also recruited moderators of conservative social media groups to promote IRA-generated content, as well as recruited individuals to perform political acts, such as walking around New York City dressed up as Santa Claus with a Trump mask.
Yeah. See you for Christmas. Yeah, I thought Christmas mattered. Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. Home.
Side note, what did Santa ever do different? As the IRA's online audience became larger, the IRA tracked U.S. persons with whom they communicated and they successfully did tasks, with tasks ranging from organizing rallies to taking pictures with certain political messages.
Harm to ongoing matter. Harm to ongoing matter. 7. Interactions and contacts with the Trump campaign.
The investigation identified 2 different forms of connections between the IRA and members of the Trump campaign. The investigation identified no similar connections between the IRA and the Clinton campaign, in case you were wondering. First, on multiple occasions, members and surrogates of the Trump campaign promoted, typically by linking, retweeting, or similar methods of reposting, pro-Trump or anti-Clinton content published by the IRA through IRA-controlled social media accounts. Additionally, in a few instances, IRA employees represented themselves as U.S. persons to communicate with members of the Trump campaign in an effort to seek assistance and coordination on IRA-organized political rallies inside the United States.
A. Trump campaign promotions of IRA political materials.
Among the U.S. leaders of public opinion targeted by the IRA were various members and surrogates of the Trump campaign. In total, Trump campaign affiliates promoted dozens of tweets, posts, and other political content created by the IRA. Posts from the IRA-controlled Twitter account, 10GOP, were cited or retweeted by multiple Trump campaign officials and surrogates, including Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Kellyanne Conway, Brad Parscale, and Michael Flynn. These posts included allegations of voter fraud, as well as allegations that Secretary Clinton had mishandled classified information. All of the conservative talking points. A November 7, 2016 post from the IRA-controlled Twitter account, Pamela Moore 13, was retweeted by Donald Trump Jr. On September 19, 2017, President Trump's personal account responded to a tweet from the IRA-controlled account 10GOP, the backup account of 10 to be written out, not numbered, which had already been deactivated by Twitter. The tweet read, "We love you, Mr. President." IRA employees monitored the reaction of the Trump campaign and later Trump administration officials to their tweets. For example, on August 23, 2016, the IRA-controlled persona Matt Skyber Facebook account sent a message to a U.S. Tea Party activist writing that Mr. Trump posted about our event in Miami. This is great. The IRA employee included a screenshot of candidate Trump's Facebook account, which included a post about the August 20th, 2016 political rallies organized by the IRA.
Harm to ongoing matter. B. Contact with Trump campaign officials in connection to rallies.
Starting in June 2016, the IRA contacted different U.S. persons affiliated with the Trump campaign in an effort to coordinate pro-Trump IRA organized rallies inside the United States. In all cases, the IRA contacted the campaign while claiming to be U.S. political activists working on behalf of a conservative grassroots organization. The IRA's contacts included requests for signs and other materials to use at rallies, as well as requests to promote the rallies and help coordinate logistics. While certain campaign volunteers agreed to provide the requested support, for example, agreeing to set aside a number of signs, the investigation has not identified evidence that any Trump campaign official understood the requests were coming from foreign nationals.
Parenthetically, it could be locations that are kind of dumb.
Yes. In sum, the investigation established that Russia interfered in the 2016 presidential election through the Active Measures social media campaign carried out by the IRA, an organization funded by Prigozhin and companies that he controlled. As explained further in Volume 1, the office concluded and a grand jury has alleged that Prigozhin, his companies, and IRA employees violated U.S. law through these operations, principally by undermining through deceptive acts the work of federal agencies charged with regulating foreign influence in U.S. elections.
3. Section 3. Russian hacking and dumping operations.
Units of the Russian Federation's main intelligence directorate of the General Staff, aka GRU, hacked the computers and email accounts of organizations, employees, and volunteers supporting the Clinton campaign, including the email account of campaign chairman John Podesta. Starting in April 2016, the GRU hacked into the computer networks of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the DCCC, and the DNC. The GRU targeted hundreds of email accounts used by Clinton campaign employees, advisors, and volunteers. In total, the GRU stole hundreds of thousands of documents from the compromised email accounts and networks. The GRU later released stolen Clinton campaign and DNC documents through online personas, quote, DC Leaks and Kuchifer 2.0, and later through the organization WikiLeaks. The release of the documents was designed and timed to interfere with the 2016 U.S. presidential election and undermine the Clinton campaign. The Trump campaign showed interest in the WikiLeaks releases, and in the summer and the fall of 2016,
there was a harm to ongoing matter.
WikiLeaks' first Clinton-related release, the Trump campaign stayed in contact about WikiLeaks activities. The investigation was unable to resolve
harm to ongoing matter.
WikiLeaks' release of the stolen Podesta emails on October 7, 2016, the same day a video from years earlier was published of Trump using graphic language about women.
A. GRU hacking directed at the Clinton campaign. Section 1. GRU units target the Clinton campaign.
2 military units of the GRU carried out the computer intrusions into the Clinton campaign, DNC, and DCCC. Military units 26165 and 74455. Military Unit 26165 is a GRU cyber unit dedicated to targeting military, political, government, and non-governmental organizations outside of Russia, including in the United States. The unit was subdivided into departments with different specialties. One department, for example, developed specialized malicious software, aka malware, while another department conducted large-scale spear phishing campaigns.
Footnote 112. The spear phishing email is designed to appear as though it originates from a trusted source and solicits information to enable the sender to gain access to an account or network, or causes the recipient download malware that enables the sender to gain access to an account or network. Netishko indictment. Paragraph.
Followed by
Investigative technique.
cool. Investigative technique. A Bitcoin mining operation to secure Bitcoins used to purchase computer infrastructure used in hacking operations.
Footnote 113. Bitcoin mining consists of unlocking new Bitcoins by solving computational problems. Investigative technique. Kept its newly mined coins in an account on the Bitcoin exchange platform cex.io. To make purchases, the GRU routed funds into other accounts through transactions designed to obscure the source of funds. The Yishko indictment, paragraph 62.
Let's hear it for blockchain.
What? Yeah. Military Unit 74455 is a related GRU unit with multiple departments that engage in cyber operations. Unit 74455 assisted in the release of documents stolen by Unit 26165, the promotion of those releases, and the publication of anti-Clinton content on social media accounts operated by the GRU. Officers from Unit 74455 separately hacked computers belonging to state boards of elections, secretaries of states, and U.S. companies that supplied software and other technology related to the administration of U.S. elections. Okay, so I'm just going to reiterate. Officers from a unit of the Russian government hacked companies belonging to state boards of elections, secretaries of state, and U.S. companies supplying software and technology related to the administration of our elections. Beginning in mid-March 2016, Unit 26165 had primary responsibility for hacking DCCC and DNC, as well as email accounts of individuals affiliated with the Clinton campaign. Unit 26165 used
Investigative technique.
to learn about
Investigative technique.
different Democratic websites, including Democrats.org, HillaryClinton.com, DNC.org, and DCCC.org.
Investigative technique.
Began before the GRU had obtained any credentials or gained access to these networks, indicating that the later DCCC and DNC intrusions were not crimes of opportunity, but rather the results of targeting. GRU officers also sent hundreds of spear phishing emails to the work and personal email accounts of Clinton campaign employees and volunteers. Between March 10, 2016 and March 15, Unit 26165 appears to have sent approximately 90 spear phishing emails to email accounts at HillaryClinton.com. Starting on March 15, the GRU began targeting Google email accounts used by Clinton campaign employees, along with a smaller number of DNC.org email accounts. The GRU spear phishing operation enabled it to gain access to numerous email accounts of Clinton campaign employees and volunteers, including campaign chairman John Podesta, junior volunteers assigned to the Clinton campaign's advance team, informal Clinton campaign advisors, and a DNC employee. GRU officers stole tens of thousands of emails from spear phishing victims, including various Clinton campaign-related communications.
2. Section 2. Intrusions into the DCCC and DNC networks. Subsection A. Initial access.
By no later than April 12, 2016, the GRU had gained access to the DCCC computer network using the credentials stolen from a DCCC employee who had been successfully spearphished the week before. Over the ensuing weeks, the GRU traversed the network, identifying different computers connected to the network. By stealing network access credentials along the way, including those of IT administrators with unrestricted access, the GRU compromised approximately 29 different computers on the DCCC network. Approximately 6 days after the first hacking into the DCCC network, on April 18, 2016, GRU officers gained access to the DNC network via a virtual private network or VPN connection.
Footnote 120, a VPN extends a private network, allowing users to send and receive data across public networks such as the internet, as if the connected computer was directly connected to the private network. The VPN, in this case, had been created to give a small number of DCCC employees access to certain databases housed on the DNC network. Therefore, while the DCCC employees were outside the DNC's private network, they could access parts of the DNC network from their DCCC computers.
I just use a VPN to watch Great British Bake Off. It's true. Cool. So, approximately 6 days after they hacked into the DCCC network. They gained access to the DNC network via the VPN between the DCCC and DNC networks. Between April 18, 2016 and June 8th, Unit 26165 compromised more than 30 computers on the DNC network, including the DNC mail server and shared file server.
Subsection B, implementation of malware on DCCC and DNC networks.
It's implementation.
Oh, sorry, implementation.
Yeah, it's a little noise. Unit 26165 implanted on the DCCC and DNC networks two types of customized malware, known as quote X-Agent and quote X-Tunnel. Mimikatz, a credential harvesting tool, and rar.exe, a tool used in these intrusions to compile and compress materials for exploitation. X-Agent was a multifunction hacking tool that allowed Unit 26165 to log keystrokes, take screenshots, and gather other data about the infected computers. For example, file directories, operating systems. X-Tunnel was a hacking tool that created an encrypted file connection between the victim DCCC DNC computers and GRU-controlled computers outside the DCCC and DNC networks that was capable of large-scale data transfers. GRU officers then used X-Tunnel to exfiltrate stolen data from the victim computers. So, by the way, exfiltrate means like they took. They take a copy of. To operate X-Agent and X-Tunnel in the DCCC and DNC networks, the unit officers set up a group of computers outside those networks to communicate with the implanted malware.
Footnote 126. In connection with these intrusions, the GRU used computers, virtual private networks, dedicated servers operated by hosting companies, etc., that at least from third-party providers located all over the world. The investigation identified virtual agreements and payments for computers located in inter alia investigative technique, all of which were used in operations targeting the U.S. elections.
Cool. Inter alia in Latin means among others. The first set of GRU-controlled computers, known by the GRU as quote middle servers, sent and received messages to and from malware on the DNC DCCC networks. The middle servers in turn relayed messages to a second set of GRU-controlled computers, labeled internally by the GRU as quote an AMS panel. The AMS panel,
Investigative technique.
thank you, served as a nerve center through which GRU officers monitored and directed the malware's operations on the DNC DCCC networks. The AMS panel used to control X-Agent during the intrusions was housed on a leased computer located near
No, investigative technique.
Arizona.
Investigative technique. Investigative technique.
So
Investigative technique.
many. Yep. Alright. All of the techniques. The Arizona-based AMS panel also stored thousands of files containing key logging sessions captured through X-Agent. These sessions were captured as GRU officials monitored DCCC and DNC employees' work on infected computers regularly between April 2016 and June 2016. Data captured in these key logging sessions included passwords, internal communications between employees, banking information, and sensitive personal information.
Subsection C, theft of documents from DNC and DCCC networks.
Officers from Unit 26165 stole thousands of documents from the DTREP and DNC networks, including significant amounts of data pertaining to the 26 U.S. federal elections. Stolen documents included internal strategy documents, fundraising data, opposition research, and emails from the work inboxes of DNC employees. The GRU began stealing data shortly after it gained access to the network. On April 14, 2016, approximately 3 days after the initial intrusion, GRU officers downloaded rar.exe onto the DCCC's document server. And also, side note, rar.exe is not fancy. That's some basic stuff. Cool. We got a lot of tech people in Austin. They can tell you all about rar.exe, which is not magic. So, they download rar.exe. Look, I spent too much time making a joke, and now I can't find my place. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's worth it. Yep. Opposition research. Yep. They began stealing data. Yep. They downloaded rar.exe onto the server. The following day, GRU searched one compromised computer for files containing search items search terms that include Hillary, DNC, Cruz, and Trump. On April 25, 2016, the GRU collected and compressed PDF and Microsoft documents from folders on the shared file server that pertain to the 2016 election. The GRU appears to have compressed and exfiltrated over 70 gigabytes of data from this server. The GRU also stole documents from the DNC network shortly after gaining access. On April 22nd, 2016, the GRU copied files from the DNC network to GRU-controlled computers. Stolen documents include the DNC's opposition research into Trump. Between approximately May 25th, 2016 and June 1st, GRU officers accessed the DNC's mail server from a GRU-controlled computer based inside the United States. During these connections, Unit 26165 officers appear to have stolen thousands of emails and attachments, which were later released by WikiLeaks in July 2016. Also, side note, WikiLeaks, fuck those guys.
Section B, dissemination of the hacked materials.
Sorry, I'm very tall and I'm trying to do something about it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last time I'll be speaking this evening, so thank you for staying present.
So good.
I will be speaking for a while. The GRU's operations extended beyond stealing materials and included releasing documents stolen from the Clinton campaign and its supporters. The GRU carried out the anonymous release through two fictitious online personas it created, DLC Leaks and Guccifer 2.0, and later through the organization WikiLeaks.
Subsection 1, DC Leaks.
The GRU began planning the releases at least as early as April 19, 2016, when Unit 26165 registered the domain dcleaks.com through a service that anonymized the registrant. Unit 26165 paid for the registration using a pool of Bitcoin that it had mined. The dcleaks.com landing page pointed to different tranches of stolen documents arranged by victim or subject matter. Other dcleaks.com pages contained indexes of the stolen emails that were being released, bearing sender, recipient, and date of the email. To control access to and the timing of releases, pages were sometimes password protected for a period of time and later made unrestricted to the public. Starting in June 2016, the GRU posted stolen documents onto the website dcleaks.com, including documents stolen from a number of individuals associated with the Clinton campaign. These documents appear to have originated from personal email accounts, in particular, Google and Microsoft accounts, rather than the DNC and the DCCC computer networks. The DCLeaks victims included an advisor to the Clinton campaign, a former DNC employee and Clinton campaign employee, and 4 other campaign volunteers. The GRU released through DCLeaks thousands of documents, including personal, identifying, and financial information, internal correspondence related to the Clinton campaign and prior political jobs and fundraising files, and information. GRU officers operated a Facebook page under the DCLeaks moniker, which they primarily used to promote releases of materials. The Facebook page was administered through a small number of pre-existing GRU-controlled Facebook accounts. GRU officers also used the DCLeaks Facebook account, the Twitter account @DCLeaks, and the email account dcleaksproject@gmail.com to communicate privately with reporters and the other U.S. persons. GRU officer using the DCLeaks persona gave certain reporters early access to archives of leaked files by sending them links and passwords to the pages on the dcleaks.com website that had not yet become public. For example, on July 14, 2016, GRU officers operating under the DCLeaks persona sent a link and password for non-public DCLeaks webpage to a U.S. reporter via the Facebook account. Who is that, I wonder? Doesn't sense. Personal privacy. Similarly, on September 14, 2016, GRU officers sent reporters Twitter direct messages from @DCLeaks with a password and other to another non-public part of the DCLeaks.com website. The DCLeaks.com website remained operational and public until March of 2017.
Subsection 2, Guccifer 2.0.
Guccifer. On June 14, 2016, the DNC and its cyber response team announced the breach of the DNC network and suspected theft of DNC documents. In the statements, the cyber response team alleged that Russian state-sponsored actors, which they referred to as Bear, were responsible for the breach. Apparently, in response to that announcement, on June 15, 2016, GRU officers using the persona Guccifer 2.0 created a WordPress blog. In the hours leading up to the launch of that WordPress blog, GRU officers logged on to a Moscow-based server, used and managed by Unit 74455, and searched for a number of specific words and phrases in English, including some 100 sheets, Illuminati, and worldwide known. Approximately 2 hours after the last of those searches, Guccifer 2.0 published the first post attributing the DNC server hacks to a lone Romanian hacker and using several of the unique English words and phrases that the GRU had searched for that day. The same day, June 15, 2016, the GRU also used Guccifer 2.0 WordPress blog to begin releasing the public documents stolen from the DNC and the DCCC computer networks. The Guccifer 2.0 persona ultimately released thousands of documents stolen from the DNC and the DCCC in a series of blog posts between June 15, 2016 and October 18, 2016. Released documents included an opposition research performed by the DNC, including a memorandum analyzing potential criticisms of candidate Trump, internal policy documents, such as recommendations on how to address politically sensitive issues, analyses of specific congressional races, and fundraising documents. Releases were organized around thematic issues such as specific states, for example, Florida and Pennsylvania, that were perceived as competitive in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Beginning in late June 2016, the GRU also used Guccifer 2.0 persona to release documents directly to reporters and other interested individuals. Specifically on June 27, 2016, Guccifer 2.0 sent an email to the news outlet The Smoking Gun, offering to provide exclusive access to some of the leaked emails linked to Hillary Clinton's staff, unquote. The GRU later sent the reporter a password and a link to a locked portion of the DCLeaks.com website that contained an archive of emails stolen by Unit 26156 from a Clinton campaign volunteer in March of 2016. That Guccifer 2.0 persona provided the reporters access to a restricted portion of the DC Leaks website tends to indicate that both personas were operated by the same or a closely related group of people.
Footnote 150. Before sending the reporter the link and password to the closed DC Leaks website, in an apparent effort to deflect attention from the fact that DC Leaks and Guccifer 2.0 were operated by the same organization, the Guccifer 2.0 persona sent the reporter an email stating that DC Leaks was a WikiLeaks subproject, and that Guccifer 2.0 had asked DC Leaks to release the leaked emails with closed access to give reporters a preview of them.
The GRU continued its release efforts through Guccifer 2.0 in August 2016. For example, on August 15, 2016, the Guccifer 2.0 persona sent a candidate for the U.S. Congress documents related to the candidate's opponent. On August 22, 2016, the Guccifer 2.0 persona transferred approximately 2.5 gigabytes of Florida-related data stolen from the DCCC to a U.S. blogger covering from Florida politics. On August 22, 2016, the Guccifer 2.0 persona sent a U.S. reporter documents stolen from the DCCC pertaining to the Black Lives Matter movement. The GRU was also in contact through the Guccifer 2.0 persona with a former Trump campaign member,
Roger Stone.
In early August 2016, Twitter's suspension of the Guccifer 2.0 Twitter account. After it was reinstated, the GRU officers posting as Guccifer 2.0 wrote,
Stone.
Via private message, thank you for writing back. Do you with the letter U?
Yes, thank you.
Do you with the letter U find anything with having investigation, anything interesting in the docs I posted? Lowercase I. On August 17, 2016, the GRU added, quote, please tell me if I can help you anyhow. It would be a great pleasure to me. On September 9, 2016, the GRU, again posing as Guccifer 2.0, referred to stolen D-C documents posted online and asked
Stone.
what do you think of the info on the turnout model for the Democrats' entire presidential campaign?
Stone.
Responded, pretty standard. Quote, the investigation did not identify evidence of other communications between
Stone.
and Guccifer 2.0.
Section 3. Use of WikiLeaks.
In order to explain its interference in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, the GRU units transferred many of the documents they stole from the DNC and the chairman of the Clinton campaign to WikiLeaks. GRU officers used both the DC Leaks and the Guccifer 2.0 personas to communicate with WikiLeaks through Twitter private messaging and through encrypted channels, including possibly through WikiLeaks' private communication system.
Subsection A. WikiLeaks expressed opposition toward the Clinton campaign.
WikiLeaks, and particularly its founder, Julian Assange. On top left over here.
Enjoy prison.
Sign up on that.
It's the opinion of the readers.
It's late. Where was I on this?
Subsection
Subsection A, thank you. WikiLeaks particularly founder Julian Assange privately expressed opposition to candidate Clinton well before the first release of stolen documents. In November 2015, Assange wrote to other members and associates of WikiLeaks that, quote, we believe it would be much better for the GOP to win. Dems plus media plus liberals would, WOUDL, then form a bloc to rein in their worst qualities. With Hillary in charge, GOP will be pushing for her worst qualities. Dems plus media plus neoliberals will be mute. Ellipsis. She's bright, well-connected, sadistic sociopath. In March 2016, WikiLeaks released a searchable archive of approximately 30,000 Clinton emails that had been obtained through FOIA litigation. While designing the archive, one WikiLeaks member explained the reason for building the archive to another associate. Quote, we want this repository to become the place to search for background on Hillary's plotting at the State Department during 2009 through 2013. Firstly, because it's useful and will annoy Hillary, but secondly, because we want to be seen as a resource/player in the U.S. election, because it may encourage people to send us even more important leaks.
Subsection B.